since end of December, early January, we have a really strong flow into defensives and into XLP sector. So we were trading Coca-Cola. As you can see, Coca-Cola keeps grinding. I think that Coca-Cola can go higher towards 85. But this week particularly, I'm looking at HON, HON. So if you missed the run, we are about to break out this trend line, and HON is really trying. They had some news yesterday on acquisition of a company, and it's a dividend stock as well. Just be careful because after dividends, stocks take a little bit of dip. But this is a setup I'm looking at. It looks constructive here, about 245. 244.50, that's a breakout I would like to have. Look, these names are slow pacing, but in situation like we have on Nasdaq and SPY right now, that we are pretty choppy, it's quite nice to have names that are less volatile and they are holding your portfolio nice and green. Another trade that we have is ENPH. I really love this breakout. As you can see, I'm a breakout momentum girl. I like to trade things that are powerful. They're retesting. ENPH had this huge gap on earnings, retested nicely, and here trendline breakout at 46 with a stop below this job around 43. That's just that you're safe, because if we get below, back into this gap at 43 below there, you will probably fill the gap, right? There's a huge probability of that price action, and that's not what we want. So again, this looks very constructive now. We're about 10 and 8, 20 and 8 moving average. My target is 55, where I see more supply. Supply means resistance. There's some orders. GDX, we saw that gold in general was slowly chopping and accumulating. We had the breakout 2 days ago, and gold miners are my choice because I think they have better momentum and they will be moving a little bit smoother, which is also happening. I'm in GDX since the 104 level, and I have stop at 101. And just in case we fail, I love to have stops. Of course, we're not going to risk our hard-earned money or more than we need to. The first target is 112, almost close to the previous high, and then higher. If we break that level, I think we can move towards 120. Because of all the uncertainty in the world, metals and miners are still doing well. Silver is lagging a little bit behind. When it comes to silver, I would prefer to not own a silver ETF. I would rather go with some silver miners such as AU or AG. These are great names to look at. AG is retesting the breakout right here, so that could be a good time to allocate, and the same way as AU. That has much more momentum. So there's a really fun trade I want to talk about as well. It's VRT. VRT was such a good name. It just has beautiful momentum, and it's a very good company for the future. I always wanted to allocate, and I always missed the boat. And now finally, after this huge gap, I had a breakout right here at 181. Of course, I missed it, but now we have another chance. So breakout of this beautiful triangle that has been shaping after the huge gap we had on earnings is a place I want to go long, and I will go long here today around 248, 249 with first target at 261, where I see huge supply level, and giving it a nice stop somewhere below this last 3 days, 240. So 248, 240 is a stop, 261 is a first target, but we actually see huge jacks, which is a option flow into the 300 strike. That would be kind of my level for a longer term swing. It could take us some weeks to get there, but overall this is a very strong name, and I like the setup here. Very good trend. Teradyne. I've been posting about this name since this breakout at 140, and there is always another setup. So remember, when you're trading and you miss a setup, do not chase, because it will probably harm your risk to reward, right? So if you're chasing something that's up 4 to 5%, that's not ideal, because you want to wait for the right entry. And in this case, we again retested, so you could have entered at the 8 moving average, but if you missed that, you can simply enter now around 330, because we are breaking out, or 328. We are breaking out this level here, the little, I would say, some call it a chop. I think it's just the stock taking a break, and you have a new setup that is in place. This name is very powerful, and I see a lot of flow into 440, which again, it's a longer term swing. You cannot expect to get to 440 in 2 days. But if you're playing this kind of wider stop breakouts, you can kind of stay in those names longer, and all you do is trailing stops, just that you don't give money back. So each time you create a pivot, this is, for example, a pivot you're running, and then you have a little retest, and then you take off. So the pivot here would be 298, right? So if you would be in this name, you can just simply be moving your stops after each pivot, like so. Here, 210 would be 1, then you move to 219, you move to 222, and so on and so far, 237, and you're riding, right? So that's what you could do, and this way you can actively manage your trade and stay in those beautiful breakouts for a very long time, because that's the point, right? You want to lose small and hit it big when you are